Lee hits a high drive to right. It is out of here.
Welcome, everybody, to another glorious episode of the Put on Giants podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas. And as always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. Check me out on Instagram at Put on Waivers _podcast. That's Put on Waivers _podcast. Good times out here. The Giants taking 2 out of 3 from the Mets. But in essence, the sixth, they had three home series. Three home series, right? And three home series that kind of took them out of the playoff race here. As far as I'm concerned, they lost a while back. They lost 3 straight to the Marlins, then lost 6 straight to the Mets and Pirates. They played the Mets and Pirates again, so they took 2 out of 3 from the Mets recently, and now they go to Pittsburgh on Monday to take on the Pirates here. So Carson Whisenhunt was able to come through and pitch very well. Everybody got into the act for the most part. 4 RBIs for Rafael Devers. He hit a ball into the upper deck. I mean, doing his thing. I think was it Helios Ramos has a 15 or 16 straight game where he has hit where he has been able to go on get on base consistently. It, a little on base record for him going forward here. So over the weekend, Adames hit a home run as well. So they took 2 out of 3. Good for them. The collapse though, the collapse that really kind of just took the wind out of your sails if you're a Giant fan is just that was just brutal. I mean those 6 games in Oracle Park, losing all those games to the Mets, all those games to the Pirates. You just knew that if you just win one of those games in those 3 series, then you have a situation here where you could have won. You could have maybe been in the mix a little bit. But when you look at what the Padres done and did in this in the trade deadline, they're going to separate themselves. I mean, the Giants are going to have to sit there and think about what they need to do going forward, because the Padres with AJ Preller, they're just going to flex every single. They don't care about, it's was it the Rams general manager said F those picks, like they don't care about those draft prospects. They don't care about draft prospects. They don't care about minor league hands. They don't care about any of it. They want to win a World Series. They're gonna go there. He is simply going all in, and he's not stopping going all in. He's doing whatever he can to get the Padres over the top. And you know what the Dodgers are gonna do, being that the World Series champs and everything like that. They got Ohtani. They're always gonna be in it. So the Giants are in a tough spot. They're in a tough spot because they have to figure out going forward in this franchise. What can they do to stay in the mix with those 2 teams and be a wild card team or contend for a division. They have to figure it out. Because them losing that many games in a row, they can't afford it. The Dodgers lost 6 straight games to the Brewers, but they're able to bounce back. The Giants just aren't able to do that. And I think they still have one of the top, I think top 10, top 5 ERAs in baseball, but they just could never figure out the hitting. And if the hitting comes back now, then it is what it is. When the season is over, they couldn't. I just feel like this team could not handle the pressure of the pennant race. The fact that as soon as they got Devers, I think everybody felt like it was like, oh God, we got Rafael Devers. This feels super real right now. This is a big thing for us now. So what do we do now when we're in here, battling them? What do we do here battling, all these other teams? I feel like it was like I felt like they had like a little bit of an excuse for the season, and then as soon as they got Devers, there was like it took away the offensive excuse, and everybody got Everybody just went into a shell. You had spots here. Adamas had a really good July. He had some good games against the Dodgers, but they really have struggled. They said ever since they've won that game one against the Dodgers on the grand slam by Casey Schmidt, they just really have struggled as a team. I think they're 13 and what are they 15 and 23 or something like that. They're like 7 or 8 games under 500 with Rafael Devers. And Devers is being a gamer because Devers is not 100%, but he's working his tail off in the batting order to do what he can to stay in the hunt. He had to help the Giants stay in the hunt, and he is doing a good job at the plate. Just battling and having these games where you can see the potential of having Rafael Devers on the Giants. But in this whole roster construction here, you have to see, you know, what happens. And it's too bad because the Giants, when you can see them at the plate, as soon as runners getting this, offensively, we're talking about with the Giants, as soon as they got, um, as soon as they got to the plate, runners in scoring position, immediately you can just see the tense how tense everybody got. You can see how the at bat would go, get to 0 and 2 immediately, and a lot of times those 0 and 2 pitches weren't even thrown in the strike zone. It wasn't good. It really wasn't good. And maybe now that they're out of the whole mix, they'll sit there and be more relaxed and all those things like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's probably what will happen now. You'll see them really get more relaxed and more chill in those positions because you got to have that slow heart rate. You got to have that, you got to slow things down and be able to just take what the pitcher gives you. The pitcher is the one who was in trouble, not you. And they have to, you know, come up with big pitches, and you have to just kind of zone everything out, and try to just drive the ball as hard as you can. And I get it; it's baseball; it's hard as hell. You know, hitting a baseball is just a crazy science. But there are teams who put the ball in play more and not strike out all the time when running, especially with runners at third base with less than 2 outs. I mean, there's been a lot of strikeouts for the Giants in those situations, a lot, an absolute lot. There's been a ton of those. So, I know Posey wants to try to get more contact hitters in the lineup. We'll see how that works out. But the core of this team are big fly, extra base hit guys like Chapman, like Adamas, like Rafael Devers, like Helio Ramos, people like that. So take it series by series, game by game. They are not a team that's going to be in the playoff hunt unless they can just completely, you know, go on an absolute, tear, if you will. So I'm not looking for the Giants to do that, but if they can just continue just to play better and be a pesky out for some of these teams, then I think that's kind of the more of the goal. And I think that's kind of why they did a soft sell at the trade deadline. They didn't do a full sell, a full sale at the trade deadline. They got rid of Kimi Duvall, moved on from Rogers, got some youth in the organization in return. So we can sit there and talk about that. But I mean, that's really what the Giants need to do. It's just try to figure out what they want to do with this roster and how are they going to battle the Padres and Dodgers going forward. Because those two teams are relentless. They will not stop until they get to the World Series again. It's just simple as that. Simple as that. Carson Whisenhunt. Here's my thing. Just we can slow it down. He's going to get an opportunity to pitch. Every fifth day now. I think his next start will be a home start against Washington. He did a really good job against the Mets. The Mets have a really talented lineup. He gave the home run in the first inning to Lindor, and then after that settled down dramatically. Got some strikeouts. Guys got a bunch of different stuff going on. The changeup and everything like that was working. And he's spotting the fastball. He's up anywhere between 92 and 94 miles an hour. So he's not going to blow you away, but if you can put it where you need to put it, it's still a difficult pitch to hit. And I thought he did a great job, and good for him getting his first win. They scored a bunch of runs for him today. So, obviously for him now going forward, if they can go ahead and, the Giants do need another lefty besides Robbie Ray in the rotation. So if you go from, if you have, you have Robbie Ray, you have Lyndon Roop going forward. Verlander won't be here next year. And then you have Webb and then Wisenhunt. That's decent. And the Giants have always come up with pitching, so really it's really not that what you it's really not about that for them. It's about what they want to do with the offensive side of the offensive side of the ball. Um, but it'd be nice to have some, if you have, three out of four guys in your starting rotation are guys who came through, as far as being homegrown players for you. So that would be that'd be kind of cool as well. So also, the development of that bullpen. Now that you got rid of some pieces in that bullpen. They moved Randy Rodriguez to closer, and can he do that job the rest of the season? Bivens is a guy who's up and down. Ryan Walker, somebody who's up and down. I think the guy who has like probably some of the best stuff would be Carson Seymour. Carson Seymour has some really good stuff. Can he come in and pitch well for the Giants here down the stretch? Yeah, I mean the guy is from Marietta, California, and he's just a absolute 6'6", 250 on the mound. Looks like a linebacker, defensive end, if you will. He's very imposing. His stuff really has a lot of movement. Didn't really see him much on the weekend, but I mean that he's a guy who is that the future setup guy for the Giants, because somebody has to replace Rodgers, and hopefully Ryan Walker can get back to his old form. Um, in this last month and change of the regular season. So we'll see. So we'll see what the Giants do. So I'll take the good job by them. They have not been playing good baseball. Good job by this team scoring runs. Good job by them getting the Mets have one of the best home records in baseball, and they took 2 out of 3. So that's always good. And I go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a team that's not really great. So and just win your games, and you let everything else take care of themselves. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. All right. Come on, Giants podcast. We'll see you next time. Take care. Go Giants, and we'll talk to you. We'll do a show after the Pirates series and see where the Giants are. All right, peace.
Lee hits a high drive to right. It is